Gloomhaven has nearly 200 items in them, and they're not at all created equal. So in this video, we're going to dive into the 10 most broken items or item categories, and we'll explain why they're so powerful. Summon items. This includes like the Jade Falcon figurine, or the skeleton ring, or the power core, which create nice little minion for you. Now, for most classes, you might not necessarily need to bring these, but certain classes can go such a long way. Some classes that can drop them, then get them back with by recovering a spent item, can just suddenly play the summon again and again, and given that it's not an action to play them, this can be hugely powerful. Some classes just have incredible modifier decks, like the music note, or their modifier decks is full of like stuns and curses, so now your summon item is just tossing out extra nasty effects, like the Cthulhu face class. And in some cases, you just need a little flanking partner for your scoundrel, especially to set up that big backstab to make sure you're going to do 40 damage to that boss, which this is a combo you can pull off at level 1. And all you need is, well, I need a buddy. Boom, drop your buddy. It's a portable buddy at the cost of a small item slot. Movement boots, from the basic boots of striding to the incredible rocket boots. These end up actually being a huge part of the strategic gameplay of the game. If you're ever opening a door, I'm always so much more confident if I have boots with me. Open the door, what's in here? Sometimes they'll draw stuff where I'm like, oh, I can get all the way to the back. It's the most menacing threat, and you can make it there. Or sometimes you didn't have enough movement, but the boots will give you that. Or they're doing their nastiest turn and you're just going to die if you get in there. But your boots give you enough movement to back out, and now their enemies have wasted their whole nasty turn. And now the big cards are out and you can confidently go into the next room later. Ultimately though, there's also scenarios where you have to get hugely along these labyrinthine mazes and crazy amount of back and forth, get out, loot this, and then get all the way back to the entrance. Boots just carry that. Ultimately, there's just no scenario where I'm like, too bad I brought boots instead of this other item. It's always going to get used. They're hotly contested items. They're incredible. The Staff of Command is a pretty simple item. It's two-handed and says, hey bear, I know I commanded you to do something, do another one. You get to play another card. Now it's very specific there, and it only works for the 2 minis class. However, when you pair it with other items that allow you to untap stuff, such as the Moon, Sun, or Star Earring, which we'll get into later in this video, this actually becomes incredible because you can play it again and again. This becomes so powerful, especially if you pair it with Concentrated Rage and get +3 to all of these attacks. Now, all those bottom actions that are just like attack 2 or attack 3 suddenly become these attack 5s and attack 6s, and then you play another card and you're like, wow, this is getting out of control. And here's the thing, it is. You can pull numbers reliably in the 40s, and we've seen numbers past 80 damage to a single target in a single turn just because they found creative ways to untap this item and tap it again and just reuse it and just cycle so much damage. So the Eclipse of Solo item and the Invisibility Cloak are in the same category because they basically do the same thing. The Eclipse Solo item only takes up a different slot and adds a nice small effect to it, which is not usable for too many classes. But ultimately though, it all comes down to invisibility is broken. Invisibility is one of the best ways to screw with monster behavior. Sometimes they'll end up just completely wasting turns because the invisible person is right at the linchpin of all these obstacles, or a door, or maybe you'll just convince them to walk through some traps to get to someone so much further away. It just becomes quite silly what monsters will do just because one person has become invisible. And this is accessible for a mere 20 gold at Prosperity 1, and the Eclipse, once you do the solo scenario and then he retires, boom, now you actually have another invisibility cloak that takes up a different item slot, just chilling in your store. Invisibility is so powerful, so even though you can only get it once a scenario with these, it's just too powerful. The Pendant of Dark Pacts takes up a helmet slot and curses you. So you have the unfortunate problem of, cursing yourself and losing your helmet slot to get 2 of your small items back. Even if this is just 2 stamina potions, you've now turned your head slot into 2 stamina potions, giving you a total of 4 stamina potions in a scenario. Not only that, but if you're like, oh crap, I'm in the middle of a scenario, I need healing, and you have a healing small item like a healing potion or the moon earring, yep, you can just use it, get back exactly what you need. You don't have to decide what it is until you very need it. And worst case scenario, like I said, it's extra stamina potions. They're so powerful that turning your head slot into one of those is already too good. Turning them into 2 of them, busted. The rings of haste and brutality are kind of the same thing. They give you just a bonus action. One's the top, one's the bottom. Now, some classes will prefer one or the other. Most will prefer the ring of brutality. This is incredible because once per scenario, when you need it, you get to play 3 cards instead of 2 on your turn. And the fact that it's so versatile, you can figure out, oh crap, we've now opened the door, there's this big thing here, let me just do this. You can decide whenever you need to during your turn, and then boom, at the end of your turn, play another card. It's so powerful. It's once per scenario, sure, just once. But once per scenario, being able to take another bonus action is just incredible. These cards end up being hotly contested as soon as they get unlocked, especially Rings of Brutality. You only get 2 of them, and then they get scooped up for a reason. Stamina potions and scroll. If you weren't surprised, if you've played Gloomhaven, you'll discover that stamina potions are overpowered. Even if you play with the nerfed versions, which you should, they're too good. They were meant to say, hey, I have some longevity, let's get some cards back and I get to last a little longer. That's already pretty good. But the effect ends up usually being, give me my most powerful card back so I can do it again and get some longevity. And then at that point, it actually usually ends up adding up more effort than, say, a power potion or possibly even a healing potion. If you use it, you can use it to use whatever you want. So you get to last longer because you get to another play before you rest, usually, if you play at the right time. And you get to get what your most powerful or most relevant that you needed at the time card back. Because sometimes you just need to get to the end of the exit and like, I need my move 5 back. Boom, you've got it. You can do it 2 turns in a row. Move 5, move 5. Sometimes you need, oh man, I need my stun back or my multi-disarm back. Whatever it is you need, boom, stand potion, it's back. And then you get an additional turn before you rest. It's too powerful, and it's one of those that these are the items that really need to be addressed. Earrings, they look so fancy. But this is especially the star earring, but the moon earring is also incredibly good. The moon earring, sometimes people get hesitant to take items that you tap because then you have to long rest, they become unspent, and then some people just don't like long resting. Well, the moon earring gives you a nice refresh all of them and heal 3. So it's effectively better than a long rest's effects outside of, getting your cards back. But if you short rest, you can get them back anyway. So behold, long rest without losing a turn. But you also heal 1 more in the process. Fantastic. Not only that, but you can kind of do it independently because sometimes you don't use all your items during a long rest. Sometimes you burn through all your charges immediately and said, I need a long rest, but I've only played 4 cards. Get them all back when you need it. The star earring does all that plus a stamina potion. So what this really amounts to is there's another stamina potion out there not called stamina potion, and it also has the moon earring built into it, making star earring effectively one of the most powerful, I would almost say the most powerful item in the game. I would say it, but there's one more, and there's a reason why it's competitive. But ultimately, taking the most powerful effect, saying, hey, I'm gonna heal, hey, I'm gonna get all my items back, and hey, I'm gonna stand potion, it's busted. Star earring, good thing you're at prosperity 9, because most people don't even get to experience that, but it's insane. Second chance ring. So if rings of brutality and haste were overpowered, second chance ring is insane. It's effectively both of them mixed into one. But instead of at the end of your turn you perform 1 action, you get to pop yourself back into the initiative with your 2 more cards, giving you effectively a second turn. This is also critical because you can do stuff like infuse elements during your early turn and burn them with your second turn. That's perfectly legal. You can give yourself buffs that say until the end of your turn, all you and allies do this, and then get the benefit of all those buffs on both of your second card actions. There are certain cards, I'm gonna actually say that we've seen this paired with some things from 2 minis that just blow through the roof, and I'm just thoroughly impressed at what you can do with this ring. You'll burn out faster. You certainly will just by 1 turn. Playing 4 cards instead of 2, especially at the prosperity you unlock this, you have very powerful cards at your disposal. You'll be able to clear out that room in no time. It's overpowered. It's simply put, it's busted. All right, here are some honorable mentions. If you're enjoying this video so far, please be sure to throw us a like. It really does help. And subscribe, because we'll have some really cool exclusive Frosthaven content coming up, as well as some cool Frosthaven playthroughs and analysis. The most powerful item in the game is an item that doesn't really do anything but does everything. It's the utility belt from the Three Spears solo quest, and simply put, the most powerful items we've listed on this list, so many of them are small items. Now, what if you could get back any one of them and do it again? Because you're like, well, Star Ring's earring's great, but then once I use it, it's gone. Or like, Second Chance ring is great, but I use it and it's gone. What if you could do it a second time? Utility belt gives you that. Not only does it give you it a second time, you don't need to use it for yourself. You can say, hey, ally, you took Second Chance ring. Yeah, get it back, do it again. The ability to, on the fly during a scenario, bring back your most powerful or most needed small item from not just you, any other player, makes this better than any small item that you can bring, because it is that small item. The worst case that this is your most powerful small item twice. The best thing is, it's so versatile, it can be anyone's. So even with the unrecoverable item, which by the way needed to be a fix on there, and I thank goodness they added that as a fix to the item, this is just the most busted item in the game. And anything that says, hey, do your best thing again, or bring your best item again, especially at the high rate of how powerful these small items are in Gloomhaven, this just becomes too powerful. Regardless of what you bring to the scenario, at the point where you get this, which can be unlocked very early, this will bring your best item back another time, and it's so insanely overpowered. So that's the list. Do you agree with it? Would you like to point out, hey, you missed this item. This item is really, really good. Let me know. I respond to all comments. Be sure to stay tuned for more Frosthaven content, and thank you for watching.